1 year of trial and error is worth a lifetime of self improvement books. Now, I get it. I love self improvement books. But let's be real here. When you read those books, the feeling you get flipping through those pages, that makes you feel great. It makes you feel like you've done something, but you've done nothing. You'd feel 10 times better if you just went out and took the action, made the mistakes, and got messy. Now, when I was on my self-improvement journey, and I don't even really like calling it that because it's not a journey, it's a way of living. In my way of living, I went out and I've done things to push myself, to hurt myself, to get messy, to make mistakes. Because real self-improvement is not fun, it's not interesting, it's not glamorous or flashy. Sure, sometimes there are those moments where you achieve the goal and it looks great, but you get right back on the grind. And it takes a really long time. Well, not your entire life to reach a goal, but it takes longer than flipping through 200 to 300 pages of the latest New York Times bestseller. Now, drawing from my life and the things I've done to get myself into the position that I'm in, everything from winning a national championship as an amateur boxer, to fighting professionally, to earning my degree in physics, to writing a book, writing multiple books, running my website, learning Spanish, playing chess at a relatively high level, 1800-ish, which is not fantastic, but it's good enough. All of these things, that's self-improvement for me. Now, what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to give you six things that you can do right now, and I think everyone should do, that will do way more for them than taking another cold shower or doing another fast or whatever the latest self-improvement, do hard things type mojo is. This is real hard stuff. This is stuff that's actually going to get you closer to your goal. And when you finish this video, you will likely never want to pick up another self-improvement or self-help book again, except unless you write it. The first thing you should do, number one in this self-improvement journey, is to train in Muay Thai, boxing, or MMA. Now, I need you to take note of what I did not say. Do not use wrestling or grappling for this part of self-improvement. Now, those are great disciplines. I've got nothing but respect, nothing but love for my brothers who roll around and do pins and submissions. But I need to be clear here. We are dealing in the striking arts because the striking arts present real damage, and hurting people is how the points are scored. There's no other way out of any of these disciplines when you win. I guess MMA, technically, you can, choke somebody out, but for the most part, you're still allowed to hit people with the knees and the elbows and all that. And in a boxing match, it's just your fist. Either way, what we want to develop is the courage to persist when someone is trying to hurt us. We want to learn how to deal with that pain under duress. We want to become dangerous. At the very least, we want to know what it's like to control ourselves in the face of danger, in the face of real controlled danger. And that word there is key, controlled. Don't go get into a street fight for this. Street fights are dangerous. You never know how they're going to turn out. I've got a great video on why you should not get into a street fight and what you should do if you encounter one. Check that out right here. But that's to say, you don't want to get into street fights. You want to develop this courage and this sense of being able to deal with yourself and handle yourself while you're in danger, but you don't want to actually be in danger. Number two, learn another language, and learn that language preferably to the B1 level of the Common European Framework for Language References, or CEFR, I believe, right? Learning another language to this level will put you into the intermediate category, roughly. You'll be able to order food, get around the city you're visiting, transport, strike up small conversations. You'll feel proficient enough. Now, you won't be able to watch your favorite telenovela or whatever the high drama piece of media is in your target language, but you will be able to communicate. And this communication skill is what is going to make you actually improve the self. Because if you can talk to people and gain a skill, you've leveled up in two ways. You've sharpened your mind and you've improved your ability to be a social, likable person. Now, it will translate into your native tongue. And we know this because if you develop confidence doing one thing, you can easily port that over to something else. It's super simple that way, especially in a related field. I'm not telling you to go learn physics so you can talk to girls better. Nothing like that. Instead, you get better at speaking and communicating in a foreign tongue, no less, and that's going to make you more confident in your ability to express yourself in your native tongue. And that is really a cornerstone of self improvement. And you'll go further in your ability to connect with and link up with people than you ever would by reading a book like How to Win Friends and Influence People. Number three, get a commission based sales job. And it doesn't have to be pure commission where that's the only way you make a living. It can be base salary with commission. That's how I made my living for a little while when I worked at T-Mobile and I was selling cell phones, and they gave me a base commission of $9.28 an hour, which is not a lot of money at all, even at 40 hours a week. Most of the money came from working on commissions, selling cell phones and the accessories and plans to get people to sign up, that type of deal. I can tell you this, there is no better trial by fire, no better way to force you to develop skills in reading and interacting with people and selling yourself and a product than having your livelihood depend on it. You know what you got to do if you want to be able to pay your bills, eat, gas money, whatever. That type of motivation and the negative feedback that comes with it, if you don't succeed, that is going to force you to actually self improve. And that self improvement is going to come not just in the skills you gain from making sales, but also in the skills you gain in connecting with people. We're back to that people thing again, because I believe, and I think many people intuitively understand this, I believe that people are the most important thing, and your satisfaction in life is going to come from your ability to connect with them. If you can't do that, you are going to have a hard time in life, and life is just not going to be, it's not going to feel worth it. And commission-based sales, this is a great way to build these skills and get negative feedback. Negative feedback is important, so you know what to do and what not to do. This is a great way to do that. Number four, live by a religious system. Now, this is the one I get the most kickback on when it comes to practical self-improvement. And that kickback comes from one of two groups. There's group one, people who are already practicing some type of religion and don't see it as a tool for self-improvement and think this idea is total garbage. And number two are people who are agnostic, atheists, or who grew up in a cultural religion and have completely discarded it and want nothing to do with it. But here's what I think. Here's my take on religion, right? There have been a lot of atrocities committed in the name of religion, but there's also been quite a lot of good done. And that's just everything in human nature in our society, right? People have an incredible ability to corrupt any system, regardless of how ironclad or how many morals or how tight it is, or how ethically sound it seems. That's just what we do. Whether it be capitalism, communism, Catholicism, Zionism, whatever you want to make it out to be, that system will be corrupted eventually in some way, shape, or form. Your job is to take the good parts and use them to become a better person. And let me tell you why this works. The restraints that you put on your worst behavior, this is one of the best parts of religion, is that there are restraints to do that, a system, a code to follow. Uh, the more likely you are to create connection with people because people won't see you as an asshole. They might hate you for following the religion, or if you turn into a soapbox preacher about it, they'll hate you for that too, but they won't hate you for being a good person. And look, think about this. if you're pushing back on this idea. The more you push back on this idea, the more likely it is you're going to benefit from it. And that is because we tend to think that our own selves are our greatest frame of reference. A friend of mine once said, he's like, I don't understand why someone would need to follow a religion to be a good person. And it's like, do you know what people do when they don't have rules? That's why we're so afraid of a societal collapse, because those rules be gone and people, human nature, will take over. So entertain a religious system for a year. See what you think about it. Tiptoe in maybe. And worst case scenario, you'll be better equipped to argue your position against religion than I don't want to listen to some invisible man in the sky, which is the worst straw man argument I've ever heard against religion. And it's the typical go-to for someone who doesn't understand the systems and things in place and why it can work. Number 5, become obsessed with appearances. Become as vain as you possibly can. Start by making yourself look as good as you can with the budget that you have. This means getting in shape, using hill sprints, distant runs, body weight. Those things don't cost a thing. So don't give me that nonsense about not having money for a gym membership. And if you start eating well, you're probably going to eat a lot less, even if you end up paying a little more for quality food, which is also a myth if you know how to shop. But that's part one of this. You start by making your body look great. You want to take care of everything you can. Look, you can't control your face. If you're ugly, that sucks. But if you're fat, that's on you. If you're skinny fat, that's worse. There's no reason to be that way. You can control that. The next part, you can improve your clothing. Now, you don't have to go buy some type of top designer stuff, because if you follow step 1 properly, you're going to be in shape. And when you're in shape, everything looks good. I just heard this said the other day. Everything is a muscle shirt when you have muscles. And that is a damn good point. So you want to start making yourself look as good as possible. And you don't need a lot of money to do that. And why are we doing this in our practical self-improvement plan? Look, you can lament it all you want, but people judge books based on their cover. It doesn't matter how good the story is that's in those pages. If they don't pick up the book, they're never going to know about that story. And the easiest way to make sure they pick up the book is to have it have a really nice cover. So you want to make your cover look sharp. You want to look good. You want to look appealing. Now, that doesn't mean you need to go and be provocative in your dress. I don't want people to misinterpret this, but I want people to understand that putting the time into grooming and appearance is going to make everything in your life easier. Now that I think about it, a lot of the resistance people have around self-improvement really is a rejection and denial of reality. It's wishing the world would accept you the way you are, and that's just not how it works. There are a set of standards, and there are things that we've been programmed to find appealing and interesting, and things that we favor and not favor. No one ever says, man, I wish this cyanide tasted like chocolate. No, we just know that cyanide is awful. We never go, oh man, I wish this mold tasted like fondue. Like, nah, just don't eat no mold, man. There's no way around that. Let's take that same approach to basic mindsets and approaches and perspectives that we carry for the world, okay? And that means accepting that the visual appearance of something matters. That's why your eyes are the most important organ. You lose your sight, that would suck a lot more than losing any other sense. And if you understand and agree with that, and let's be real here, it would suck from everyone, uh, then you understand the power of appearance and why you should take care of it and the doors it can open for you. It'll make connecting with others easier. We're not even talking about from a romantic point of view. Your friends don't want to be friends with somebody bummy. Yeah, they're not, you're your friends and are not supposed to judge you, but we all judge people, and that's just how it goes. That's how you know to not sit next to that bum on the subway, because he looks like a bum. If he was sitting in a suit and he happened to be homeless, you wouldn't know. At the very least, you'd be less likely to move to the other side of the bus if you saw him, come out of a box. So appearances matter. Become obsessed with appearances and change your life. Number six, volunteer. Now, it's all good to give charity and donation and spend money on causes that you feel are important. But the real test, the real development here is when you invest your time and energy into a project. And that project is something that you can't get any return on. You can't get anything back. All you're doing is giving up a non renewable resource, your time. And this is important because it's going to get you to become an unselfish person. And this goes back to everything I've been talking about in this video so far about the value of connection and building skill. But we're going to take that a step further. And I want you to think about this idea for a minute. If everything you do is only based on some type of monetary compensation or physical compensation that you get back, what does your life look like if you're in a position where you can't do that? You get injured, you get laid off, someone decides to leave you and you're lonely and you got no one else around you. How do you get yourself back into the world? How do you get back to being a mentally healthy and sound person surrounded by people who enjoy your company and you enjoy their company? The answer is, and this is one of the reasons why people have such trouble making friends, the answer is that you have to give up part of your time to get time and energy from other people. It's going to go a long way in helping you form a connection. Now, we talked a lot in this video about the value of social connections, but in the next video, this video right here, check out how I tell you how to make friends if you're an adult. This is really key, though. If you're not an adult, you can benefit a lot from this because adults suck at making friends because we're no longer in school and we don't have a way to do this and no one ever taught us. But I'm going to teach you exactly what to do in the next video. See you there.